This is Chapter 10, Reluctance Illustrated, Policy Uncertainty During the Presidency of Bill Clinton. In the presidential campaign of '92, he talked a lot about relieving the deficit. He advocated for immediate or stimulus spending, promised to reform the healthcare system, advocated to overturn homophobic bans in the military, promised to increase taxes on the rich, promised tax cuts for middle-class Americans, and promised to enact welfare reforms, as well as a number of other things. Some issues and options that he had to face were that he made a lot of contradictory promises during his campaign. He was also advised to cut the deficit, but to keep his promises of healthcare and welfare reform, which obviously would be difficult. But with the Democrats in control of Congress, he had the leverage needed to enact social reforms. There are 4 facets of the budget process, or the budget in general, that are very important to social workers. The first is the funding of entitlements. The second is domestic discretionary spending. The third being tax policy, and the fourth being military spending. All of these have an impact on programs or funds for programs that are important to social workers and their clients. The fight for health reform is outlined heavily in this chapter. It starts with the healthcare system, which at the time revolved around employers and private insurance companies. This doesn't always work for everyone. Medicare and Medicaid helps the elderly and unemployed and poor, but is expensive. And private health insurance added huge costs to the medical system in general. He rejected the single-payer system because he knew that doctors would oppose it, conservatives would see it as a big government scheme, and it would also require a multitude of government resources. Outlines the opposition, logistical issues, momentum, and defeat of the health reform. Next, we have the budget confrontation. So Clinton was given a time frame of 7 years to balance the budget. They felt that this would force his administration to make decisions quickly and efficiently. Clinton's second term was outlined by these events. Then there was Medicare and Medicaid expansion, which expanded to include prescription drug coverage. It highlighted abuse by central administrators, and that was fought back with lawsuits by social workers, specifically with central administrators giving gag orders to certain physicians about certain procedures or medications that they could provide but didn't want to, or that they thought might be taken advantage of. And lastly, we have the link to contemporary society. Welfare reform was not a total success or failure. Welfare rolls did decline by about 50% in many states, but about half of women on welfare rolls remained because of personal disabilities or familial disabilities, those being both mental and physical. Certain policies help people thrive, and that they should be a key part of the American welfare state. The principle of social justice when regarding ethics should also include families with moderate means and not just families with no means. And then finally, social workers should be informed of and be able to provide their clients with information on hidden resources when applicable they're not known about. And if you have the resources to provide to your clients, then you definitely should.